Hey everyone, Chloe here, and welcome back to this feminine platform, and welcome back to my channel. And if you are a new subscriber to our soft power community, then hello and hi and welcome. Now, before I get into the heart and soul of this video, for house cleaning purposes, many of you will be triggered by the content of what will be discussed and this deeper dive. And there will be a lot of pain points that may be triggering for many of you to hear, so you have been warned. But this is a long overdue growth spurt conversation as it pertains to waking up and engaging in soft power, and Black women having to take a long look in the mirror when it comes to what they actually want for their lives in the long run and in the future, particularly after the results of this election, which many Black women have expressed utter devastation over.
Putting in place, re-electing, putting back into the White House the person who was responsible for taking those rights away and restoring them. But that message obviously was not enough to get enough white women to vote for Vice President Harris, a fellow woman. This will be the second opportunity that white women in this country have to change the way that they interact with the patriarchy.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm starting to see a dangerous increase in Black Trump supporters. And I thought these were outliers, but the way every time I turn around and there's another Black influenceable Black person who is in support of Donald Trump, it's like I'm surrounded. It's like, I'm like, what is going on?
Now, I would really appreciate it if people would stop telling the Black community, specifically Black women, how to feel and respond to this election. I have seen numerous videos of people shaming Black people, but I know they're talking about Black women because we are the ones who are most expressive on this app, especially in response to this election. Shaming women for the F you attitude that we have had in response to the election. And as we should be. We're angry. We're frustrated. We're exhausted. In history, us, Black women, today, yesterday, we have always stood on the front lines with our marginalized communities. And to see that this was the response when it was our turn and we said, come stand with us, we are grieving. Anger is one of the stages of grief. And I'm really annoyed that Black women specifically always have to wear the Superwoman cloak 24/7.
Now, first and foremost, for my reactionary girlies, please inhale, then deep exhale, and then repeat 3 times because soft power for the win. And yes, like many of you, my hopeful thought was that Trump's utter dysfunction, the misinformation, the disinformation, the Russian bot farms, the backlog of court cases, and his horrible character would somehow cripple his polarizing power, especially after that January 6th fiasco. But I was as wrong as 2 left shoes. And yes, it is pure madness that a convicted felon has now been re-elected. But the will of the American people has spoken, and you cannot put toothpaste back into the tube. But I first want to start this video by paying my respects to Mrs. Kamala Harris because she really did fight a good fight. She had 100 days to run a campaign that normally requires a minimum of 2 years to have a real chance at success, and she really did do her best for a woman who was hard launched and thrusted into a nasty political abyss and a spectacle of a mess. And for that, she deserves her flowers. Now, over at The Hive, and shout out to The Hive and to the wonderful women of the New Feminine, but I posted about the meltdown reactions that Black women have been expressing over at TikTok.
Hope your day gets better.
No! Why?
Positive energy.
Why?
Ha! If I see one more Black female supporting Trump, I'ma motherfucking know something. Cause why the fuck as a Black woman are you supporting that shit?
When I say, like, don't ask black women to do shit no more, like, the way I process that is, like, I'm not gonna do shit at my expense, you know, with myself on the line type shit anymore. That's what I'm saying, like, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. For me to do things that put me on the line, like, are at my expense, I overextend myself, it's gotta be some shit that's really, you know, close to the heart. It does. And it's got to be for people that I know would do that for me. And you know what?
And sadly, the only people who, after this loss, who seem to be surprised, shocked, and dismayed, and crying and throwing up in the Walmart parking lot were Black women. Now, please keep in mind that we are a free society and that people have every right to vote for who they want to vote for. And they have every right to vote in their best interest or even against their own interest, because that is their right. But with that being said, I am not surprised at all by this outcome because I was fully enthralled and upset the first time around when Hillary Clinton lost. From that experience alone, I learned many gender lessons from seeing Mrs. Hillary Clinton lose when many white women voted against her and got on code and sided with their providers. And feathers will be ruffled to hear this, but there will always be women whose self-preservation will kick in and who will use the patriarchy to their advantage when it comes to hypergamous provision. And when you know your gender history, you'll understand that men and many women do not want to see women in charge, especially many white, Asian, and Latino men who are accustomed to being the head of their own households, whereas many Black men aren't. And Black women need to understand that those voting strongholds are not interested in equality or being led by their women at all, because they are more interested in order. I know, ouch and deep burn, but as usual, when it comes to family values, Black women are usually the last ones in the room to know this. And if you've been online for the last 10 years or more, you would know that middle and rural American white men want their masculinity back. So they are not impressed by seeing a Black woman lead, and they definitely were not going to back that leadership up with their vote. Those demographics want families and they want order restored. I mean, who do you think started the manosphere movement that has spread to all races of men? Hello, white men. But the over 50% of white women who voted for Trump, and by extension, Asian women, Latino women, they have and always will majority back their provider men because they were never going to go against a lifestyle where a soft life is provided and where a strong family unit is deeply important to them. So no, they could care less about Glow, Megan Thee Stallion, and Cardi B's music, as those entertainers are a mockery of the idea of a nuclear family and a kept woman. And quite frankly, there are so many people who believe that the Democratic Party themselves look like a complete joke with all of that wrong time, wrong place, lowbrow entertainment. So surprise, surprise, at the end of the day, turns out that there are just as many women who'd rather be a kept Melania than a Kamala. So Black women have a lot to learn about how women who benefit from the patriarchy move, which is why if you are taking your feminine education seriously, your friendship group should always be diversified so that you wouldn't be so shocked about what other races of women truly desire and want. Ladies, just imagine a provider for a woman who is living the soft life, voting against her man. Imagine a woman who is living in a traditional provider-led household as a fulfilled stay-at-home wife and mom. Imagine a woman who depends on her husband to have as many business opportunities as possible so that he can continue to flourish as a provider in a Trump-led administration. All of these scenarios are beneficial to her when her man is a strong, capable financial leader, so she will never ever vote against that in favor of songs about Plan B pills. And this will ruffle many feathers to hear. And I hate to say it, but other races of women are not interested in single mother-led households, Plan B pills, stripper rap music, and depressed masculinity in men who cannot find jobs. And they absolutely do not want the matriarchal dominant life that has made Black women the de facto face of strength. In fact, they absolutely want no parts of it. So they definitely were not going to vote for a Black woman to be their leader. Latino men voted in record numbers and they weren't having it either, as their machismo is some of the strongest out of all races of men. They also tend to be Catholic, and Catholics are heavily, heavily against going to the clinic. And many do not even believe in birth control because they tend to see children as a blessing according to their religion. And poor white men are always going to vote dump because they tend to be very broke, which is why they stormed the Capitol in the first place, because they had time. And as a voter bloc, everyone knows that many of those men tend to blame women and all minorities for their problems. These insecure men are the foundation of the manosphere, where they are always passive aggressively sanctioning violence against women and are always rehashing regurgitated red pill talking points ad nauseum. And most women do not find them desirable at all, which is why a lot of them tend to prey on the low self-esteem of black women and the divester space. And yes, I said it, and clock it. Now, I have been touching on black women being the de facto face of strength for more than a couple of years on this platform, and a few weeks ago, this video went viral for all of the wrong reasons.
Okay, I haven't been on TikTok for a bit, and I noticed everyone was tagging me in that whole Andrew Schultz thing about black women. I'll make a different comment about Andrew Schultz and that little rat Akash thing, but I want to say something about black women, and this was my mother, and I God is my witness right now. May the Lord strike me down if I'm lying. My mother told me and my siblings when we were young kids, before I remember it was when my older brother started secondary school. It was a big deal, my older brother going off to the big boy school. And my mum sat us down and she said, if you're ever in trouble out there in the real world, look for a black woman. My mum said this. My mum was raised in this country from the age of 6, the UK. She said, look for a black woman. She said, anywhere in the world, a black woman will help you. She was never wrong. But it's incredible that my mother said that, and I don't know what my mum went through, but I remember seeing photos of my mum in school when she was in high school and stuff, and she had loads of black friends and stuff, and they were all black women, because my mum wasn't a pick-me, she only had female friends, and so she obviously felt some protection. And growing up for me, I noticed in my school, it was a very predominantly white school, the black teachers looked out for me. I had a black Jamaican teacher called Mrs. Forrester. She looked out for me. But even outside of school, when I started growing out my hair, it was a black woman that taught me how to look after my curls, what products to use. It's black women that built me up on this platform and got me to where I am. I have to give credit to where credit is due. It was women in general, but black women specifically, who boosted me and told me how pretty I was and how great I was. But I am trying to make a point here, and it's that black women get treated the worst. Malcolm X said this. He goes, unfortunately, they are treated the worst. By the medical field, by the education field, by the police, by everything. Yet they're the ones that give the most love. And for I saw what he said in that post, Andrew Schultz, and some comments, and it's sad, and it hurts my heart when I think of those things, because I'll tell you right now, it wasn't that long ago, my friend Jordan, who I love and boast about, Jordan's got these, Jordan's family is just, when I was homeless and Jordan introduced me to his family, they treated me like I was one of them. They didn't even care. They were just they treated me like family. It didn't feel awkward. You know when you go over to someone's house and you just sat in the corner for a bit? It didn't feel like that. And I know not all black people are the same. Obviously, I know that. But there's one thing that black people universally have, and that is that beautiful smile and beautiful love that they just give out. But I'm telling you, it's a special feeling. I remember going to Jordan's once, and I was just heartbroken. His family just welcome me, and they were like, "Where's the?" You know what? You know what his family said to me? They go. Oh, we've got a plate ready for you. And then Jordan's cousin just looks me up and then goes, "You're still skinny, boy." And I'm just like, right, well, yeah, I know I'm home. No, I can't sit and not make a comment on this, because no, and I know I made a post months ago about black men, but and go look through history. Go look at what Nina Simone did. Go look at what Doreen Lawrence, Stephen Lawrence's mother, did. Go look at what Betty Shabazz did. These people are just incredible. And we don't give credit where credit is due. We really don't. And I think nowadays we're living in this world where if someone's pretty, we give them credit. Credit for what? They were just born beautiful, but like we don't look at the person's soul. We don't look at like who. We don't look at what people can attribute to life. If we did, we would give Mary C. Cole a huge statue. So that's my 2 cents, and I hope just thank you, and yeah, and thank you to the a specific thank you to the Jamaican community, because there was this Jamaican woman who helped my grandmother, and that's a different story. And just Black women in general, thank you for everything you've done for me, for everything you've done for my family, and for everything you've done for our people. My people wouldn't have survived in the UK if it weren't for Black people standing up for us, coming to the protests for us, protesting with the bus rallies for us. Yeah, I know my history. So thank you.
But for much needed feminine educational purposes, here's what being the face of strength essentially means in a nutshell. It means being devoid of femininity. It means being confrontational with men. It means being a surrogate and a mascot for masculinity. It means being the face of a social justice warrior. It means being the face of leadership. It means lacking in softness, lacking in vulnerability. It means not being expected to have needs. It means lacking in rest, lacking in leisure. It means muling. It means being a foot soldier, a handmaiden, and wearing the cape for everyone with little to nothing in return in terms of provision, protection, and softness, which are the things that Black women are in dire need of the most. It means being burnt out, being expected to pour from an empty cup. It means women leaning on women for strength instead of leaning on men. It means marching, combativeness, challenging the establishment, and being okay with female leadership at the absence of male leadership. And as a devastating consequence for Black women, being the face of strength means that most people expect wholeheartedly for Black women to not have needs, for Black women to be single, to not be married, to not have a provider husband, and to be the complete backbone of their families and their extended families and other people's communities, which is why everyone keeps demanding that Michelle Obama run for president, even though she has outright declined over and over and over and over from wanting to do so. But because Black women are the face of strength, people tend to ignore when we say no to chasing power or when we say no to leadership. So that is all that I have to say on this for now. I think Black women need to figure out their why and what exactly that they want for their lives moving forward, because as Black women, we all want different things. But Black women need to ask themselves if they want to keep being the face of strength for the next 100 years. So ladies and lurkers, to keep this conversation going, was Kamala Harris doomed from the start? Is feminism dead? Do Black women need to differentiate their friendship group? Should Black women leave politics alone, or should Kamala Harris run again? And are Black women finally done being the face of strength, or is the attention of being strong better than no attention at all? And as always, I thank you for liking, I thank you for sharing, and for subscribing to this ever-growing platform and community. And please stay tuned for more videos to come, and I will catch up with you ladies and lurkers and ear hustlers in the next one.
So since we are now, as a collective, Black women in our rest era, I decided to kind of like tell you guys what I'm going to be doing for the next 4 years. I will be getting fine as fuck. Okay, I will be getting in the best shape of my life. I will be creating content consistently and building my social media strategy business. So if you want to see a Black girl get fine as fuck, build a business, focus on her YouTube channel, you know what to do. Because I'm not going to lie to you. Yesterday, something in me shifted. I can't even put it to words. I'm going to try, but something in me shifted yesterday. Something in me shifted in a way where it was like, you know what? It is time for you to stop being in service to other people and focus on your motherfucking self. It is time for you to start to put yourself first. It is time for you to start to prioritize yourself. It is time for you to stop playing with your potential. Like, something in me shifted. I can't even describe it. And as I scroll through TikTok, I realize I'm not the only one. And that makes me feel so fucking great, because it makes me realize that we all are good. Like, we're good off you. We're good. We're good. We're good. I'm not even going to go into
specifics, but just know we're good. We're done. We're good. We're good. Those who get it, they
I can
get
tell
it.
you one thing that you just need to stop doing as a woman. This would be it, because it's literally holding you back from being innately who you are. It's holding you back from being in your creativity. It's holding you back from being in your power. It's holding you back from the femininity that literally courses through your veins. So if you want to tap into that divine feminine within you, this is what you're going to stop doing. You're going to stop attaching your worth by any means in any capacity to your level of productivity or output. Hear me when I say that. You are going to stop attaching your worth by any means to your level of productivity or output. You are a woman. You are cyclical in nature. You live by a 28 to 32 day menstrual cycle. Sure, we somehow live in a society that has convinced you otherwise, but you are meant to be. You are meant to frolic. You are meant to connect to your body. You are meant to rest. If you are attaching your worth to your productivity, you're never going to feel worthy. Your body was literally not designed to be productive all the time. So give yourself permission to be. Give yourself permission to rest. Understand that being a woman requires this of you, and let your worth simply be innate and inherent, because it is.
Hey, Black women, I have a message for you. Make no bones about it, I love all women, but truth be told, our battles are different based on the skin that we bear. So Black women, hear me when I say, your purpose is bigger than this moment. I grant you permission to rest. I remind you that since this country's inception, Black women have carried it on their backs. The first to show up, the last to leave, the most educated, the trendsetters, the culture shifters, the innovators, the sustainers, healers, the artists, and the muse. Baby, it's always been you. And there is nothing that the Black woman hasn't survived up until this point. So what you think that this time gonna be any different?
Yo, imagine clocking out of work and you get to clock out for 4 years. This feels good. I'm not gonna lie. Like yesterday, it was hard on me. I'm not gonna lie. It was hard on me. But then today I woke up and I'm like, whew, I can take the cape off. I'm good. I'm done. Me and my sisters, we standing together. The cape is off. We are free. Good luck. Okay?
Price went up. Yesterday's price is not today's price.